Episode 9 is set to introduce numerous new characters into this story by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, without a doubt, by far, I think that the group of characters that are very mysterious in the sequel trilogy are, of course, the Knights of Ren. That's what makes them so interesting and pretty much, makes the fans just want to learn more and more about them. Now, thankfully, J.J. Abrams is, of course, bringing these characters back into action in Episode 9, where we will be learning a whole lot more about these characters and their connection to Kylo Ren. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren, as well as elements of Darth Vader. Specifically, a description of the Knights of Ren inside of the Dark Spire, with Kylo Ren in front of them. It's described that all of the knights are kneeling down in front of a large Darth Vader statue. The next goes over one of the knights walking forward toward Kylo, handing him a vase of some kind that is said to contain the ashes of Darth Vader. Another goes over Kylo holding the vase and walking with the knights back on board of their ship. It's described that Vader's helmet is on board of the ship and now sits in a dish structure full of the ashes, similar to what was shown in The Force Awakens. It's described that the knights discovered the ashes of Vader during their mission back from the Beyond. It's described that the Knight of Ren that discovers the ashes of Vader to Kylo had a connection to Luke Skywalker years ago, before the events of the sequel trilogy. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, the Knights of Ren seem like it's really going to be the more, I guess you could say, dark side of the actual story of Episode 9. So first things first, I want to go over the Dark Spire. Now, this is not to be confused with the Black Spire over at Galaxy's Edge. I highly doubt that it's the same exact thing. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. This could just be a different way that, J.J. Abrams is actually calling it in the movie. But the Dark Spire, by the way, guys, is this large castle. Remember this, a large castle that's going to actually appear in Episode 9. Is it Darth Vader's? I'm not quite sure about that. But when we actually go into the actual Dark Spire, what's really interesting about this scenario is that the Knights of Ren are all kneeling in front of a Darth Vader statue, where one of the knights actually walks forward and hands Kylo Ren a whole entire vase full of Darth Vader's ashes, a vase-like structure, right? So what's really interesting about all of this is that it really does make one wonder exactly how did they actually come across the ashes of Darth Vader. Now, it's described that they discovered the ashes on their way back from their mission of the Beyond. Now, the Beyond is either a section in the galaxy, or maybe even a new galaxy entirely, or maybe even a different dimension. We're still not quite sure exactly what the Beyond is in this movie, other than it will be significant to the story, and will have something to do with the new threat in Episode 9. So, one of the Knights of Ren, the one that actually discovers the ashes of Vader, actually once had a connection to Luke Skywalker. So, like I say, I think this is most definitely one of the ex-Jedi students of Luke after the destruction of his Jedi Temple by Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren, or at the time, Luke's Jedi students. So, we do know that at least one of the knights in this film is going to have a big revelation and or twist that has something to do with Luke's past. And I most certainly believe that it's going to have something to do with Luke's, Jedi Temple, or something to do with that side of the story, without a doubt. But when we're looking at the Knights of Ren, we do know that they are going to have their own names in this movie. We went over that a couple of weeks ago. They're very Japanese-esque names. Now, we're not quite sure if those are the actual real names in the movie or just code names. But a lot of them, or at least some of them, I should say, not all, some of them do indeed end with Ren. And as you all know, in the Dark Spire, there is a statue of a character named Kylo Ren, which is said to be Snoke's master. So moving past all of this, in The Force Awakens, we actually do see something similar, where we do have Kylo Ren taking off his helmet in the interrogation room in front of Rey and slamming his helmet into ashes. Now, in case you guys did not know, those ashes in The Force Awakens are not of Darth Vader's, but of his victims, of the ones that he has killed before in the past. How freaky and creepy is that? So, I don't know if you guys remember this also, but if you look at in The Force Awakens, there are a lot of, pieces of dialogue, I should say in the novelization, not in the movie. There's a lot of pieces of dialogue in there that really do hint at more elements of Darth Vader being inserted into Episode 9 as well. And that's one reason as to why, I was a little confused as to why they skipped over all the Darth Vader related stuff in The Last Jedi, where he's like this looming figure in the background. So, overall, guys, I'm very excited about the Knights. I'm very interested in these characters. I cannot wait to see what J.J. Abrams does with these characters and exactly where they will be by the very end of the movie. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.